You go fuck yourself, motherfucker! Get ready to watch Mikey Madison shine brighter than 10 suns in Neon Studios' Anora from writer-director Sean Baker, whose previous work includes films like Red Rocket, Tangerine, The Florida Project, and others. Check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work, and it centers around Mikey Madison's Anora, or Annie for short. She is a lady of the evening. I don't want to seem sexist. Is she a hooker? Well, she gets paid for it, so I guess she's a hooker or a prostituta or whatever you want to say. She is a lady for hire that will treat you nice for the right price. She works at a fairly decent club with an interesting clientele, with an interesting cast of characters. Quite a few beautiful women are the other ladies of the evening in this. I do want to say that. And Annie happens upon a rich Russian playboy, Ivan, played by Mark Idilshin. If I got that wrong, I do apologize. He is a very rich Russian boy. Da. He's got all the money in the world. Well, it's his parents' money, but he wants to share it with Annie. And basically, after some meetings, he wants her to be exclusive to him. A whirlwind romance takes place, and everything's going great until the family finds out. And then things start to unravel, and then really unravel. And then, boy, oh boy, me, oh my, down on the goddamn crazy, comedic, sex-filled, sad-filled bayou, it is certainly something that is going to take you on one incredible ride. So, before I dive into the meat of the matter with this particular review, I do want to say that this has received a lot of attention on the film festival circuit. Amanda the Jedi, who runs a great YouTube channel, not that she needs me to plug it, but she is easily my favorite movie YouTuber to watch. Love her humor, love how she presents her opinions on movies, and she's able to take stuff apart smartly with good snark, but also she does attend film festivals, and she has been praising Anora for quite a bit. So have a lot of people on Rotten Tomatoes, and I know some people are like, Rotten Tomatoes, this kind of stuff, whatever. It's still kind of a tentpole for judging movies, as well as IMDb, the Internet Movie Database on the information superhighway. The whole point is, this has been receiving a lot of goddamn praise. Now, a lot of it has basically fallen on the shoulders of Mikey Madison, who, by the way, was in Scream. If you don't know who she is, she was in this. She was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Mikey Madison has had some good roles so far. Now, I want to say, I don't care when people watch this. I don't care if you've already watched this. You need to watch it again. If you're going to watch it, if you just got out of the theater and you decide to click on this review, thank you very much for doing that. I don't care if you decide to wait until it's at home to, just soak it all in and everything. But you guys need to watch this, and Mikey Madison delivers a performance that you cannot buy, that you cannot manufacture. A performance that basically is head and shoulders above so many that I've seen this decade so far. A devouring, star-making performance. Fuck, a supernova-making performance. If studios are not blowing up her goddamn phone, her social media, with offers for A-list roles for the next decade plus, then that is a crime that the Geneva Convention basically needs to investigate. This was amazing as far as a performance. Now, the rest of the movie is really goddamn good. Do not misunderstand. Mark, as Ivan, is very good as well. But Mikey Madison, from the moment you see her till the very end, Jesus Christ, I'll get to that ending here in a second. She absolutely devours every goddamn scene. One, she looks great. And I mean that. She looks great, but she commands the screen, and she also put a lot of effort into, working as a lady of the evening. Even talked about how difficult pole dancing is and the core strength and all the stuff that it takes to do it. And she has had a lot of praise heaped on her, and rightfully fucking so. Now, you take her performance out of this, if you replace it with somebody that basically is just kind of here instead of all the fuck way up there in a goddamn, 30-story loft that we can't even see from down here because we're just lowly peasants, and she's all the way up here now. If you take that out, sure, the movie might still be funny, but it's not going to have nearly the punch that it does from a comedic standpoint, from the unraveling of this seemingly whirlwind romance, and just all the stuff and everything, and that ending, oh god, that ending's going to fucking stick with me for the rest of the goddamn year, if not longer. Yeah, this is how I spent my Halloween. I wanted to see this months ago. I was hoping that theaters closer would get it a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to do that. So I had to basically drive down. I paid full price to go to a Lowe's theater because I only have the Regal pass because the Regal's near me. And I decided to pay full price last minute because I was stuck in traffic. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And I'm so glad I did. You need to see this with an interactive audience. There are some hilarious goddamn moments. There are some tender moments. There are also some insane moments. If nudity turns you off, then I don't know why the fuck you would bother to watch this movie. Because it's about a call girl, and also it is about the fact that there are numerous sex scenes. And there's a lot of really great stuff. And it also shows how people can get wrapped up in a certain world and not realize what they got themselves into. And it is just fucking incredible. Mikey Madison deserves an Oscar nomination for this. I don't think she'll get it, unfortunately. I would like to see her get it. But she does deserve it because she is really, really fucking good. Now, I do want to shout one brief role, like a supporting role, that's what I'm trying to say, by Lindsay Norrington, who plays Diamond. She's very good. She's actually quite, good. But I do want to shout some other performers in this, and I apologize if I get some of these names, even wrong. If I get even within the ballpark. Karen Karagulian, who plays Tauros, is hilarious. He's also got some great, dramatic moments. He's very good. Garnick is easily the best of the bunch. Well, easily the best of the bunch as far as comedy goes. Vache Tormison, or Tolvison. Yeah, probably screwing that up. But the character of Igor, Yura Borisov, is great. Get this man some more roles. He has some great inflections and some great just how his face, conveys some stuff, just great expressions without even having that much of an expression. He's got very expressive eyes, and that's something that's going to take him far. I thought he did great in this. And there was Galina, who plays the mother of Ivan. She shows up a little bit later. She's very good. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name because I'm probably going to screw it up. But she has some pretty good stuff here as like the rich wife of a rich husband and everything. But Mark is terrific as Ivan, showing that money can't exactly buy everything. It can't buy maturity, it can't buy other stuff. And it can buy you some things, but then you might get in too deep and you're trying to keep all the blood in your dick instead of going under. But he did end up saying, at one point, while partying, here's to having a big dick and lots of money, which is kind of an indication of how all this stuff's going to go. Now, you can see where this is going to go. And the fact is that ending still hits. It still hits because it's what's not said, and it's just the crushing reality and just all the stuff that has built and built and built between certain characters and just with certain characters around the periphery and everything. And it's just, it is haunting. It is really sad. But this movie is so goddamn funny for most of its run. And that's down basically to the characters I mentioned before. Tauros, Garnick, and Igor. But also just Annie, Anora. Mikey Madison is incredible in this. Absolutely incredible. Great cinematography, too. Like, it looks great. It looks lush. It looks incredible. There's some great use of music. There's All the Things She Said by Tattoo. T-A-T-U. And Where the Hood At by DMX. That was interesting to hear that. I was like, oh, am I allowed to listen to this song? Because I feel kind of bad trying to hum along to this because, it's got some language that white people should not say. But that being said, some great music. I mean, they had a lot of goddamn music. But I did pop for All the Things She Said. That being said, please check this out as soon as you can. Mikey Madison deserves an Oscar nomination for this. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Let's just get into it. Spoilers probably won't take very long, though, because what basically ends up happening is after, Annie is doing her stripper stuff and everything, her lady of the evening stuff. She, and again, Mikey, incredible looking. I mean, really incredible looking. And has that star quality about her. And there are plenty of beautiful women in this, in this deal. And I'm like, okay, cool, all right. It pretty much starts right off with a bunch of lap dances and everything, so you know right where this movie's going. She ends up meeting Ivan, who she speaks some Russian because her grandmother was didn't want to learn English, so she knew some Russian. But they end up having a spark. Now she takes him to a private room. He's very nice as far as her she's very nice as far as how he'll tip her, and he tips very big, so she does more favors for him and this kind of stuff. And then he even pays to have her go to the house for a little bit, this lavish house that turns out his parents own, and all this stuff. They're having the sex and everything and all that. I don't know why I'm saying like that as a near 44-year-old white guy, but everything's going good. He decides to take her to Vegas along with some friends. And he's like, well, I got to go back pretty soon to Russia and everything, and I don't want to. But if I get married, then I don't have to. So they get married, and everything's going good. And actually, he does genuinely seem happy with her. He does genuinely seem happy. She seems happy with him. And she very much likes the finer things in life. Because she's used to getting treated well by her clients and everything. She has gotten to the point where she's basically left her job. And he gets her a nice ring. Even before that, when he wanted her to be exclusive to him, $15K, up front. Deal. I wouldn't have done it for less than 30 is what he said in Russian. And then after they get married, they get married in Vegas, all this, everything's going okay. And then suddenly word gets out about the marriage. Toros, Karin's character, is like, he works at a church. I mean, I don't know if he necessarily works at a church. But he's at a church. And he's trying to find out more about this stuff. So Garnick and Igor go over there. And yeah, Ivan's trying to basically stop them from doing this. And they they kind of, persuade their way in, take a picture of the marriage license. And then, Toros gets a hold of that and basically says, your parents are coming. Well, for whatever reason, Ivan panics and decides to run out. He's trying to get, Mikey, trying to get Annie to go with him. The thing is, though, she doesn't have pants. She just has her underwear and her shirt on. And he just runs out instead, because he didn't want to deal with Toros. Garnick ends up injuring himself by slipping on some ice, trying to chase after him, which kind of leads to him having some issues. And then there's this scene that goes on for quite a while. I didn't even realize how long it went on. But Igor and Garnick are trying to stop, Annie from, freaking out too much. But she's, yelling. Toros is on the phone. All this madness. And Igor ends up tying her up with a phone after some stuff gets broken. Like a phone cord, literally. Straight out of the Chris Benoit playbook, except, well, to be fair, Annie still had her back intact. That's going to get some hate from people in the comments. But great scene, by the way, where she ends up breaking, Garnick's nose to the point that he's worried he has a concussion because she did kick him pretty hard, and also he hit his head doing the ice thing. And Ivan takes off. We don't see Ivan for quite a goddamn while. Toro shows up, and basically the idea is we're going to get an annulment. Well, no, and Annie's very bad. One, she obviously, is she being greedy? Sure. Can't deny she's being greedy. She got a taste of the good life. She wants to continue to have a taste of the good life. But also the fact is somebody swept her off her feet. She allowed herself to be swept off her goddamn feet. And I'm not discounting this, because Ivan is the villain in this, but it's not like Annie's exactly pure. And I don't mean because she's a little who, you know what I'm saying. It's in the Stu Hart voice. If you get it, you get it. I'm not saying she's totally innocent, but I'm also just going to say that some of the dialogue she says, like just the sailor mouth that she has, she fires off some really good lines while mixing in the swearing and everything, and it's just so funny. And then her interactions with Toros, Garnick, and Igor are great. And the thing is Igor was trying to help her. He wasn't trying to hurt her, but he had her tied up in this kind of. He didn't want her to try and escape. And there's even this funny line where, "Oh, don't do that," and then she tries to escape. He's like, "Oh," and Garnick, "She's escaping." "Oh, really? You don't say." And basically, what it breaks down to is they're trying to find Ivan, and there's a bunch of interactions and stuff like that. There's one point where the car almost gets towed because they parked near some police barricades, and the guy just rips off the goddamn bumper, getting his, I think it's like an Escalade off the goddamn thing. Garnick ends up getting some, like, pain pills or whatever, but because he hasn't eaten anything, or because he took too many, he fucking threw up in the goddamn car, and it's really stinking. There's some great stuff there. And all the while, Galena's on the phone, wondering why Toros has not, found him yet. There was a funny line just before all this, or funny part just before all this kicked off. He was going to be part of like a kid's circumcision, and that because he's a rabbi, I assume. I don't know, but he ends up getting a call and then has to take off. So yeah, he had to leave in the middle of. I don't know why that made me laugh so much, but it did. The religious stuff made me laugh, which is weird because I just watched Conclave last week. That's really good, by the way. You should check that out. But from there, basically, they're looking for him. They eventually do find him. And at this point, he is just toast. He is absolutely blasted. And also, he's just having fun being a playboy and everything and doing all this stuff. Even though he's supposed to be a married man, he's still a, Russian millionaire son's playboy. And Diamond tries to get back at Annie by giving him a lap dance and doing this kind of stuff. That's where all the things she said was playing. I popped big for that because, boy, both those women. Boy, did I love that video for obvious reasons. The look got me. Anyway, let's move on from that. I was 22 when that song came out and that video came out. Forgive me. And then DMX is playing this kind of stuff. And so they find Ivan. They're going to take it and get it annulled. The thing is there's a wrinkle thrown in, and a great thing where, Annie's trying to, not swear as much to basically say, hey, we're married, this kind of stuff. And, oh, it happened in Vegas? Well, you can't get it annulled here. You have to go there. Okay? So the parents arrived, and the parents had their private jet. And Galena, I have to say, the actress playing Galena, terrific in this. She ends up basically being like a raging bitch about this whole thing because she's like, you're beneath us and everything, and our son just married you, but our son's going to go back and work and do this stuff and everything, and you're going to be nothing. And meanwhile, Igor is in the background and everything, feeling bad for what Annie is going through. Because Igor seems like a nice guy. He does seem like a nice guy. Then, they get on the plane. Ivan is frustrated with his parents, and then him and Annie have it out, where basically she realizes she's kind of been had. She's been taken on a ride, but that ride's over. And just the pain on Mikey's face during this, where she lashes out in her New York way, but you could tell it hurt her. And I think that part of Ivan is hurt also, but I think Ivan's also retreating back into what he knows. What he knows as far as, being a rich, Russian millionaire's son. And while I don't think that he is without redeeming qualities, he also has been living a high life without any responsibilities, and that has kind of manifested this character. So they do the Vegas annulment, and just Mikey having these lines, these bars, as the kids say, against Galena and everything. Just talking about this, like, he married a prostitute because he hates you. The dad, the actor played the dad. I could pronounce that guy's name if you offer me $50,000, but he is losing it in the background, and it is so hilarious. So, she basically sheds a lot of the stuff, the mink coat, all that and everything. The lady that played the annulment officer, or, office attendant or whatever, she was pretty good. She actually had a pretty good scene here. And basically the idea is this whole deal was Toros is saying, okay, it's going to be a green card annulment. You're going to get $10,000, but you can't have any association with this family. And Igor gets her the money. They stay in the house one last night. They spend some time, talking and everything. And she said a certain line that it's F-ass bitch. I can't say the line. I can't because I'm not going to. But talking about why he didn't do something or whatever. It's like, well, you pinned me down or you had me pinned down. Why didn't you R me? Why would I do that? Because I'm not that. No, it's because you're this. Because she's still trying to put that shield up, but this is all crashed down and everything. And even though she got some good money, even though she got some good stuff, now she's got to go back to her reality. because she was taken she basically was emotionally damaged by this guy. And then there's a final scene where her and Igor are in the car. Igor takes her stuff to her luggage to the porch. It's snowing pretty severely there. And one final thing was Toros took the ring. Ring got brought back. Igor's like, don't tell Toros. She decides to do, for something, nice for him. She decides to basically give him almost a lap dance and almost like do something where she's going to be either give him a hand, give him a little handy, or maybe even try to fuck him. But then he starts to get into it. She's getting into it, but then she snaps and is just like, snapping and trying to push away and everything. And she starts crying. She realizes that even though it seemed like Ivan loved her, didn't, this all crashed out. And it's not that she doesn't have anything against Igor. Who knows? Maybe they go on to have a relationship. Who knows? But just that reality, and the windshield wipers, mind you, are going because of the snow. And that ending, just with the crushing reality of everything dropping down. Jesus. And no music in the end credits. You just hear the windshield wipers going as the names go by. And yeah, they knocked it out of the fucking park, and Mikey Madison deserves every bit of praise she has gotten. She deserves an Oscar nomination. I don't know if she'll get it, but if she does, well fucking deserved. A fucking plus is what this gets. This top 10 at least, possibly top 5. We'll see, but really fucking good. Anyway, so agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description, and letterbox handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.